You are now tuned in to Go Time Dolphins with Charlie Touche and Kadeem Simmons, the Miami Dolphins podcast that's for the fans and by the fans.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's showtime. Going all out when it's go time. Go. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's showtime. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Go. Don't waste no time.
The Miami Dolphins lose to the Minnesota Vikings 24-16. I thought I'd get that, off the bat because we have such a bad job of telling our listeners what the score was.
I had it memorized this time. Like, listen, we're gonna get this out the way first quarter. So yeah, man, we took the L. What was it? What was the score?
24-16.
24-16.
So Dolphins lose 24-16. They're currently on a 0-3 losing one. Can you explain to me, after telling me how you are, why I'm not in a bad mood? Why I'm not ready to smash up my room? Why I'm just like, it's football, it's life. Am I maturing in my old age, or are the Dolphins on the unlucky side of things at the moment?
You know why, Kadeem? It's this right here. I'm rubbing off on you, bro. Like, it's the positivity. Like, I'm more positive, and you used to be the negative one. So I'm rubbing off on you, and I like it. It's Go Time Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins podcast that goes not only across the pond, but across the world. I'm your boy, Charlie Touche. I got my co-host, Kadeem Simmons, with me. It's always for the fans and by the fans. Your favorite podcast. The Miami Dolphins lose to the Minnesota Vikings 16-24. And just to start off with just some comic relief. Just the comic relief, Kadeem. Because I know no L is fun. But I'll try. I'll try to give you guys some comic relief. Touche's lock of the week on Easy Money was to bet that Miami gets 17 points. So why Coach went for 2, I have no idea. But I knew when we were lining up, I like, oh, it's a wrap. I'm losing this one. Like, I knew for sure we were not going to get it. But anyway, listen, man. I'm going to tell you why you don't feel like smashing up your room, Kadeem. Because you should feel encouraged. I know it's an L, and I know we're on a 3-game losing streak. But any Dolphin fan that has watched all of the games this season, if you actually watch them, and you watch the 3 wins, and you watch the 3 losses, you should feel encouraged. Because in those 3 losses, we were in those 3 games. Not only were we in those 3 games, we probably should have won all 3 of them, in my opinion. Okay, yeah, we lost to Cincinnati. Maybe that was the tougher one of the 3. But the paper planes, we had our chances. Should have beat them. The Vikings here in South Florida, I mean, I can't say we would have won that game if Jalen Waddle doesn't fumble it, but I'm saying we had our chances. So that's why you should feel encouraged. And we did all of this, Kadeem, with our 2nd and 3rd string quarterback. Like, you cannot write this any other way for the Dolphins to be more banged up. But, I don't subscribe to the over injured. I don't subscribe to that excuse. So the bright side is we get Tua Ningamanu Olipola Tagovailoa back week 7 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. What did you make of the game, Kadeem?
So I messaged, and you're going to come up quite a lot in this podcast over the next going forward, basically. I messaged Drakey, who, still learning about the NFL, and I said, and this was when the score was 17-10. I was like, regardless of what the score is, going forward, if the Dolphins lose this game, whatever, I'm not going to blame the defense. This wasn't a game in which we go, the defense let us down. If you say to someone before the game, the Dolphins are going to hold the Vikings to, or force 11 3-and-outs across the game, Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill are going to both go for 100 yards. Mike Gesicki's going to score 2 touchdowns. And the Dolphins are going to lose. Someone will say to you, how is that possible?
How, Sway?
Like, how? And I think that's why I'm not, angry. It's that saying, it's the hope that kills you. The Dolphins, and I'm not trying to discredit what the Vikings did, but same way you said on the last episode, or it might be another podcast, that we didn't so much beat the Ravens beat themselves. I look at the game and go, the Vikings didn't beat us. We beat ourselves. In one drive in the first half, the Dolphins must have got inside the red zone about 3 times, and penalties killed us every single time. In one drive alone, the Dolphins gave up 50 yards due to penalties.
Hey, Kadeem, leave some meat on the bone, bro. It was 46 yards of penalties, and we gained 40 yards. We totaled 40 yards, and we gave up 46 yards of penalties. But listen, hear me out. Unfortunately, we have just witnessed, and this is for everyone who actually seen the game. Unfortunately, we just witnessed Mike McDaniel coach his worst game ever. And, we like to, I don't want to say we like to, but we allocate blame. And it's not that we allocate blame, but we break down what we just seen and we bring it on to this podcast. Like, what's going on here? What went wrong? And I'm here to tell you guys that this loss is on the coach. It's not a shot at all. I still love Coach. It's our coach. I love Coach. But this one is on him. So many reasons why. The penalties is a reflection of coaching. It is nothing else but coaching. There is a reason why the Cowboys were the most penalized team in football last year. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then the coach said, "Oh, it's just preseason." Like when it was preseason, like what? It's a reflection of coaching. And this is the McCarthy said that. So when you see the Dolphins give up 50 yards of penalties in one drive and have 9 penalties total, that is a direct reflection of coaching. And we just said, Kadeem, on Go Time Dolphins, that if Flores was the coach, we would understand why we would not have so many penalties. We knew that for sure. Not saying that we want Flores back, not saying anything else like that. But all I'm saying is it's okay for Coach to have his worst game ever because it's only week 6. I'm glad it didn't come in the playoffs. I'm glad it didn't come in the AFC Championship. Get it out your system right now before we go on this trip. You feel me? So for someone who doesn't have kids, I have 14 nephews and nieces, and I do understand. Hey, man, stop drinking all that water before we go on this road trip because we're gonna have to stop and you're gonna have to go. You know what I'm saying? So, Coach, he got it out of his system now, and we don't have to worry about a sloppy coach game because you had the penalties, and then you had my favorite, Kadeem, which is a fake punt on 4th and 1 in your own territory when it's just ill-advised. I'm like, no, bro, this is terrible. It's almost like you compounded bad decision after bad decision after bad decision after bad decision. So I'm not sour at all. I'm just calling it how I see it. And fortunately for us, it's in week 6 and not week 16 with the playoffs on the line.
I think, so me playing devil's advocate, I'm not going to excuse the coaching performance because Kevin Dern on Twitter said, why has coach just completely abandoned the run game? Like, I don't understand why in the second half we barely ran the ball. I don't quite understand it. It is what it is. Coach had his worst game, and you could also turn around and say that perhaps Jalen Waddle cost us the game because his 2 drops were costly. The first, his 2 fumbles.
Yeah, he had one drop, 1 fumble.
Yeah.
You could say his 2 turnovers.
So each 2 turnovers, yeah. And it's like the first turnover, what led to the Vikings getting 3. Although that was also a penalty from Noah Igbinoghene, which I'll give him credit. He made 2 plays in the second half, but it doesn't excuse his overall play. Like, it's Noah. And then Waddle's second turnover, which, like you said earlier, we don't know whether the Dolphins would have scored on that drive. However, that kind of like deflated the stadium, deflated the team, because you're driving downfield, down 6, and it's kind of like the way the defense was playing. Had the Dolphins scored a touchdown on that drive, you, in the context of that game, will be quietly confident that the Dolphins could get another stop.
Kirk Cousins is going to give you one for sure.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, I said it, in the review. I've said it over the past few weeks now. The Dolphins aren't playing complementary football. Like, again, this isn't the defense of 2020, but I feel like they held on for so long to give the Dolphins offense a chance to score a touchdown. And obviously, Waddle has that fumble. Next drive, Dalvin Cook goes off. And we kept Dalvin Cook quiet all game. So, yes, while I do agree that Coach McDaniel had his worst coaching game so far, I can't quite signal all the blame on him, because
it's never all the blame though.
Yeah.
And even those games are like, oh, this is on the defense. Yeah, it's on the defense, but it's not only on the defense. It's a team game for sure. It's a team sport for sure. So it's never one person, one play, one unit. It's always, all right, bro, yeah, the defense killed us today. And for example, not today, not this game that we just played against the Vikings, but when we did talk about it, or last year, oh, the offense got to do better, right? Yeah. So yeah, it's never one unit, just one unit. But for my dollar, this was mostly on coaching. And yeah, I was gonna ask you, Kadeem, how many drops do you think Chase Edmonds has on the season?
Off the top of my head,
off the top, yeah.
I want to say like 3 or 4, but I'm probably missing quite a few as well.
Right. So NBC Sports, going into the game today, NBC Sports only had 3 for Chase Edmonds. And I'm pretty sure, Kadeem, now I'm going to preface my comments by saying I'm not sure what they consider a drop, right? Because I'm pretty sure we watched the game and be like, oh yeah, this is definitely attributed to the receiver dropping the football. And then they might, I don't know. Again, I don't know what they consider drops. But they only have Waddle dropping 3 passes on NBC Sports prior to today, and Tyreek Hill dropping 2 passes. And I'm like, I ain't going to lie. I know Hill dropped more than 4 passes on the season. This is week 6. I'm 100% sure of it. Same thing with Waddle. I'm sure he dropped more passes, and I thought Waddle actually led the league in drops. And according to NBC Sports, they got to get all the blame if they're wrong. Breece Hall has 5 drops on the season. So I do believe out of the games we watch, and anyone listening to the podcast, pretty sure you've seen Waddle and Hill drop a pretty good amount of passes. When Waddle drops that interception, bro, this is exactly what I'm saying when I say, bro, some interceptions, there's in baseball, and I know you're not really familiar with baseball, but baseball, there's a stat called error.
Yeah.
It's an error. It goes to the person who got the error. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't go to someone else on the team. Like, yo, this is yours. Hold it. You know what I'm saying? Hold that. And I'm telling you now, yeah, like my dog Kadeem Simmons would say, I'm telling you now, yeah, they have to come up with a stat in football for when a receiver hits off a person's hands, a pass hits off a receiver's hands and ends up as an interception, that stat has to go to the receiver. And they haven't done it yet, but not too long ago, they started recording sacks. And look how much sacks are influence are on football today, right? So they're going to get that stat right, because that was a drop on Waddle's part. Ended up being a pick. That's unfortunate. Driving to put away I don't want to say put away, but to go ahead with a go-ahead score. Shout out to Sherrod Steve. He was at the game. Shout out to 5 Yard League at the game, right? We'll get to all of that. But to have Waddle catch this pass from Teddy, which the O-line was porous, bro. Like, but they catch this pass from Teddy, and we were banged up, two backup tackles. Catch this pass and just go on a foot race and just ball security. Ball comes out. Me and LB were watching the game together, bro. there was no, oh no, there was no, it was just silence as the play's happening. Like, anybody listening to the podcast, that's exactly how it sounded when we watched Waddle fumble the ball. Like, no, this is not good. And we couldn't do nothing about it. And they couldn't do nothing about it. So you got to, everyone who was around when Kenyon Drake fumbled the ball on the 1 yard line and he held his head underneath the towel for the rest of the game. It happens in football. It just can't happen right there.
I think, for anyone watching the game, you can see Waddle was just like, for someone, he has high standards of himself. And it's one of those things where he probably thought internally he cost the Dolphins the game. He just like, I've let my teammates down. And I think Coach McDaniel alluded to it in his press conference after. Obviously, Waddle comes back in. Waddle goes down injured at some point after that, comes back into the game. In my opinion, that was him going, I let my team down today. I'm not sitting on the sideline. It's not happening. I'm going to finish this game and do whatever I can to try and get back into the game. It's very much, if we're going to win this game down in the situation, it has to be because of me. I need to, atone for my errors earlier on in the game. But again, it's the Dolphins, they beat themselves up. And, again, Coach McDaniel said that he's not going to allow this team to blame quarterback injuries on it. But we haven't spoken about it so far. This is the third game in a row, I believe, in which the Dolphins finished with a different quarterback to the one they started. Skylar Thompson, who, in my opinion, didn't look that bad today.
With injury. Ended with a different quarterback because of injury.
Yeah.
It's a very significant difference.
Yeah. And when he went out, I was just like, it's that luck thing. I was like, only the Dolphins can go through so many quarterbacks at this point. And obviously, Skylar Thompson doesn't come back into the game. I believe it's a thumb injury, couldn't grip the ball. But what did you make of Skylar Thompson's performance before his injury?
I thought it was good enough. Like, when I say good enough, it's good enough for a quarterback that was drafted in the 7th round that is a rookie and asked to come in, and he took all the snaps in practice. Every snap he took in practice, and Teddy Bridgewater just came in on the I'm gonna try it, media availability.
Well done.
You know what I'm saying? He came in after the game and said, I think I took like 2 or 3 snaps. Teddy took 2 or 3 snaps on the week. So Skylar Thompson got every rep, bro. You know what I'm saying? So imagine you have a game plan and you hope Skylar takes every rep because he's going to need it in practice. And next thing you know, he's not playing. So for my dollar, Skylar Thompson is as advertised. He's going to be a good backup quarterback in the NFL. And it sucks that we didn't get to see like him. We still haven't seen him play a complete game. And no disrespect, I hope we don't get to see it now. Right? So it is what it is. He came in, he did what he was supposed to do. There's some things I would like to have back. There's some things that are encouraging, and I'm pretty sure he'll say the same. I'm pretty sure coach will say the same as well. But at the end of the day, bro, it wasn't enough. And back to what I said about coach, all them penalties, bro. Like we were in field goal range multiple times, and multiple times penalties took us out of field goal range. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately for Jason Sanders on the even year, I can't give him that no more. I think we're on the market for a kicker in next offseason, unfortunately. But this is where we are, man. It never, ever feels good to take an L. But I know if you're a real Dolphin fan that watch these games and are invested in any capacity, I can't say any capacity, but if you're invested in the games and you watch them, then you gotta feel encouraged that we're 3-3, and the arrow is still green, pointing upwards somehow. Yeah,
it's to coin a phrase from our GTD affiliates, it's the same old Dolphins. Like this defeat to me was just like, yeah, same old Dolphins. And
I don't know about that.
But just in terms of the luck and the way the game presents itself. Like again, like I said earlier, if you just look at the stat line in terms of Dolphins defense forcing, 11 3 and outs, both your wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2 go over 100 yards, and your tight end 1 gets 2 touchdowns, you'd be like, you know what? That's a solid game. What the Dolphins win by? And they go, oh no, the Dolphins lost. You'd be like, okay, yeah, cool, because it's maddening. Like again, you keep Dalvin Cook quiet for the majority of the game. You keep Justin Jefferson to 0 touchdowns, and the Dolphins lose. It's like, in my opinion, if I were drawing up a keys to victory for that game, it's can you stop the run? Can you keep Justin Jefferson quiet? Can the defense turn up? And can you get, your 3 stars in Mike Gesicki, Jalen Waddle, and Tyreek Hill, can you get them to go off? And all that happens, and same old. And again, it just felt like, I think maybe that's why, like I said, I'm not angry, because it was just like, this is what, in my lifetime as a Dolphins fan, I'm kind of used to.
But here's my thing, though, Kadeem. This is what the stats don't pick up. So, yeah, you had the eye test. You had the stats to back stuff up. And if we go by stats, then we should have lost that Buffalo game too, right? But listen, this is what the stats don't pick up. 1 minute left, 1 minute and 26 seconds, left in the first half. By the way, the Dolphins get the ball at halftime, right? So we deferred, we get the ball at halftime, so we have a chance to double dip. And going into the game, I knew if we had the option, we would rather get the ball at halftime, because you don't mind Kirk Cousins getting the extra possession. It's Kirk Cousins. I like Kirk Cousins, by the way, not to be a Dolphins quarterback, but I don't think he's as tragic as everyone makes him. But he will give you a couple. You know what I'm saying? He'll give you a strip sack, or he'll throw a pick. Like, he's good for that. So here's what the stats don't say, Kadeem. 1 minute and 26 seconds left. You stopped Minnesota 3 times in a row, Kadeem, and didn't use not one of your timeouts, bro. You had 3 timeouts, and this is going to coaching. You had 3 timeouts, and had you called a timeout after the first stop, when you stopped Minnesota after first down, then another timeout after second down, and another timeout at third down, you have about a little over a minute with no timeouts. You have somewhere within a minute and 11 seconds, possibly, because you burned 3 timeouts. We didn't burn the timeout. Did we burn the timeout on third down, Kadeem? No, we didn't. Took the time all the way down to like 23 seconds, got the ball back, had Teddy throw the ball, and then called our first timeout. Come on, bro. Like, this has nothing to do with being you don't know the game of football. Bro, I could play Madden, and I know, bro. Why am I calling timeout with 20 seconds left now, using my first timeout with 20 seconds left, as opposed to a minute and 40 seconds left, right? So now you burn all of your timeouts on the other side of 30 seconds for some reason, and they get the ball back. That's when the pick happens. It turns into 3 points. So Mike McDaniel is literally responsible for giving the Vikings 3 whole points, and that's unfortunate. So again, I'm not tripping. I'm not overdoing it. But this one is on coach. It's all right, but it's on coach. Not the best time. Like everyone's injured. Xavier Howard was trailing a lot. Every time I looked up, Xavier Howard was, Jefferson was quiet, but it's like your mechanics, bro. Why are we looking in the backfield and you got Adam Thielen in front of you and he's got 3 yards on you now? I don't know, bro. But it is what it is, man. It's an L that we got to swallow, and I don't like the taste of L's. I'm actually allergic to L's, but it is what it is.
That's difficult when there's an L in your name. Like Charlie has an L in his name.
Hey.
Wait, where's the lie?
Hey.
I'm just saying. Like you can see it. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see CHARLIE.
What? See what? See what?
HAR.
Hey, why you say H?
Ain't it pronounced like H? Like A-I-T?
Yeah, it's H, but you pronounce it H.
I would say London accent, but I'd also say it's just the way I say words. Like
I couldn't say cinnamon when I was growing up. It was always cinnamon. Cinnamon.
You can't even say availability at the moment. So
bro, I'm glad I aced it. And then if you notice, I didn't go back to the well. I got it out the first time. Like, yo, let me just, you know what I'm saying, cash out.
Which, by the way, massive shout out to 5 Yard Lee of the Dolphin UK podcast. Sent us a video clip of Teddy Two Gloves speaking to the media. It's up on our YouTube channel. Go over there, show it some love, and also show 5 Yard Lee some love because, you know, that's just what the GTD affiliates do. So thank you so much for that. I think there's still positives to take from that game. I thought Christian Wilkins had himself a decent game. Jalen Phillips got himself a sack. I praised him earlier, and probably the last time we'll praise him again. Noah Ibenogany got 2, you know, park breakups. Dude, fair play to you. Like, you know, and you can tell when he was on the field, they went over to him quite a bit, and you know, he gave away the pass interference, which put the Vikings to field goal range at the end of the half. But after that, I don't think he killed us after that, which by Noah standards, fair play. But listen, at the end of the day, like you said, the Dolphins lose. And I said it after we lost to the Bengals and once again after we lost to the Jets. Tua left this team 3-0. He comes back and it's 3-3. And I literally asked for the Dolphins team, don't do that. Do not erase all of the team in general, but Tua's hard work. And I think what compounds it as well is that the paper planes are now 4-2 because they beat the Packers. It's like, Aaron Rodgers, what are you doing? Like, that's maddening in and itself.
I ain't gonna lie, I had the paper planes on a parlay. I'm not that mad, but I'm just saying I kind of had an inkling, but go ahead. But I feel like the Packers aren't as good as everyone thinks, and the Jets are better than what everyone thinks. Not saying that they're spectacular.
Yeah, but like it's annoying because this was the easy part of the schedule, and we said we can go 6-0. Now, granted, we thought Tua would be starting, but when we think we'll go 6-0 in this part of the schedule, and he started 0-3, we're now back in a situation where we were last year when Tua came back from injury, where we need to run the table. We'll discuss that more during the week, but it's just, yeah, I can't think of much else to take away from the game outside of we need to clean up the penalties. I know the TNT rule isn't Mike McDaniel's thing, but there's enough players who were in the building last year who know what the TNT rule is, and it's the kind of thing where, and I get it, you're in school and you've got that strict head teacher and you're great during that year, and then the next year you've got a new head teacher that's a bit more relaxed. You start to mess up a bit, and it's like, we know you can be disciplined, Miami. We know you can. Don't start relaxing now because you've got a more fun head coach that allows you to play table tennis. Like, let's get back to a disciplined way of football, but have fun being disciplined, if that makes sense.
Man, bro. It's football, man. Like, I feel like you can only control what you can control. I'm going to go back to it again. Everyone's saying, oh, how can you be proud of this when people were hurt for the Bills and the Ravens wasn't a real win, all this good stuff. Listen, man, a W is a W, a L is a L. You got the Ravens that just lost to the Giants. The Bills are playing the Chiefs right now as we speak at the time of recording. And I said it before, the AFC East is the toughest division in football right now. No, it's not the juggernaut division that we're accustomed to in some NFL years where, this division is extremely tough to navigate through. But nah, like, we have a pretty stacked division over here in the AFC East, and we got to navigate these muddy waters. Tua's going to come back. The Pittsburgh just beat Tampa. You know what I'm saying? So for everyone who thought Pittsburgh was just going to lay down, Mike Tomlin never had a losing season ever. I don't know how you do that, but shout out to you. You know what I'm saying? So,
and also, So very quickly, Pittsburgh were without Minka, like 2 other DBs, and their starting quarterback got knocked out for a concussion. Like,
listen, man. Any given Sunday, it's that simple. Any given Sunday,
100%. I'm gonna say this now. I didn't tell you about the other Kadeem curse, did I?
What we got, bro?
Whenever the team I support play on my birthday, they lose badly. I'm talking bad.
Hey, listen, man, we're not doing that. We speak things into existence, Kadeem. That's what we do, bro. We don't put that negativity out there, bro. Like, forget all of the stuff that you about to talk about right now, bro. We all right. We're good. We're about to go into week 7, prime time game. Tua's coming back. The return of Tua. Tua turn up Tua, however you want to do it. You know what I'm saying? We about to get this W, man. Forget all that woo you was talking about. You know what I'm saying? We out here, man. We here. New law.
I'm just putting it out there now. That's what I'm saying.
Listen, man, y'all come on over to bonus time with us. Unfortunately, the Miami Dolphins fall to the Minnesota Vikings, 16-24. But it's a lot of things to look forward to, man. Y'all don't hang your head, man. We all right. It's a lot more football left. It's a long season ahead of us. The division is close. We're all right, man. Y'all know what time it is. Stay positive. Test negative. For Kadeem Simmons, I'm Charlie Touche. Thank you for tuning in this time. Make sure you catch us next time on Go Time. Already.
And it's showtime. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's showtime. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's showtime. Going all out when it's go time.
Shout out to @JTrees24. He tweeted this earlier. I'm going to ask your opinion on this. I know your answer, but I have to ask you. Chase Edmonds, Mike Gesicki, and a first for Christian McCaffrey.
I beat you to it, but
like,
beat you to it.
That's
you said a first or a third?
A first round pick.
First round pick?
Yeah.
We wouldn't have to trade Gesicki and Edmonds. They'll just take the first round pick, honestly. They would. I 1,000,000% believe Carolina would take a first round pick for Christian McCaffrey. And here's the thing. From what I understand, Adam Schefter reported that they already turned down 2 offers, and what they want is a high draft pick or multiple draft picks. So a high draft pick could be a second round pick, honestly. Here's where I'm at with Christian McCaffrey right now. Update. Since he restructured his contract, and he's only due, whoever acquires him will probably be like paying him $1 million this season. However, he will still be paid, or he will still be owed $36 million over his next 3 seasons. Looking at his contract, it would tell me that whoever acquires Christian McCaffrey is going to pay him $12 million next year and $12 million the season after that. And then you could cut him and only get hit with a $3 million dead cap penalty, I think it is. So in essence, you'll be paying Christian McCaffrey $25 million for 2.5 seasons. It's not terrible if he stays healthy, but, we already got people that can't stay healthy. Waddle went down with a shoulder injury, but he came back in at the end of the game. And if you've seen the injury, it looked worse than – well, it looked bad. It looked like I looked at it, I'm like, if that's a separated shoulder, he's going to be out 2 to 3 weeks. Yeah. Then he was on the sideline, and instead of walking back to the locker room or going to the tent, I just seen him just staying there. And I'm like, if that's an AC joint, it might be work. It might be like, if it's something torn, we got a problem. You know what I'm saying? Because torn is worse than separated. So I don't know what we're going to get. My bad. Let me go back to you with Christian McCaffrey. What happened, bro? What you doing?
I'm definitely doing it for that. Like that's the kind of thing which you do on Madden when you're the Panthers GM and you take over the Dolphins and you finesse them and then you quit and like that's that kind of trade. I can see the upside of Christian McCaffrey. I want to get the best out of the running backs we got right now. And if you're only paying him $1 million this year, can you perhaps restructure his contract for the next few years? It's possible. I think it's very much, without sounding stupid, I would do it if it benefits Miami. If Miami can get him for a cheap, late day 2, early day 3 pick and a player who we not going to use going forward and can restructure his contract, then you can't say no to Christian McCaffrey. But it has to be on our terms, if that makes sense.
Off the top of my head, and I could be off $1 million or $2 million, I believe Chase Edmonds gets $7.5 million. I believe Raheem Mostert gets $1.5 million, maybe. Then I believe friend of the podcast, Myles Gaskin, gets $2 million. And I believe Savon Ahmed also gets $2 million. So that's $4 million, $5.5 million, carry the $2 million. Bruh, so that's like 13 because I said 7.5. So 5.5. All right, hey, look, 12 to 13 million allocated to the running back room. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My thing is, if we just pay Christian McCaffrey 12, and then you're probably going to get a rookie next year because you wanted one this year. So you're going to get a rookie. You're not paying him. You're paying him pennies on a pound. Pennies on a pound, not pennies on a dollar. So you're paying him pennies on a pound. And I imagine you're probably going to pay Raheem Mostert again next year for another $1 million. In a way, you allocate the same amount of money to the running back room if you traded to get Christian McCaffrey. I understand that concept. I just don't know if the Dolphins are willing to pay one person $12.5 million to not be available. So maybe it would behoove us to go younger in the running back room, draft running back, and bring in someone undrafted. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know.
Yeah, questions to have to be answered in a few weeks. But overall, I'm buoyant. I'm in a buoyant mood, and it's funny because I asked Hannah Montana. She was like you. I asked voice of the podcast Jordan. She didn't know either. I was just like, oh, people. I know LB didn't know. I was like,
LB didn't know the second meaning. I want to be very clear. We knew the first meaning. We did not know the second meaning. Hey, hats off to you. You the one who write for a living. That's what's up. I like it. Oopsie.